This is a review of the AWT Handheld Flux Core MIG welder. The model is MIG 100. And on the bottom of the box it shows that it's easy to carry, IGBT technology. You should use gloves and protection. And also, rated input voltage 110 volts. Rated input power 3.3 kilovolt amps. Rated input current 26 amps. Output current 40 to 100 amps. Made in China, obviously. Is there anything else special on the box? There is not. It was actually packaged nicely. This was this is decent packaging. You get an extra nozzle, 2 tips. There's already 1 tip in the device. If you look real close, you can see 0.8, and on this one, .9. Also comes with kind of a cheap brush, and of course the owner's manual. This is the actual machine itself. As you can see, Handheld Flux Core MIG welder, AWT MIG 100. This is all of the internals, like you would expect on the base of a normal welder. There's your working point, your tip. It was interesting when I opened up the box. It actually came with a roll of the Flux Core welder with it. That's what came with the machine, which was nice. That they would send you, a roll of it, so you didn't have to go out and buy one to play with it. It came with one on it. The machine itself, if you look at this base, this is how it functions. Voltage on top, amperage on the bottom, power switches on the right, and then you choose the 30 or the 35 on the left side with that switch. This is a little different than kind of what I'm used to, because it gives you the option to choose voltage. That's 16 to 19 volts that you can choose. Most people have the experience with welders that you just choose the amperage and the wire feed speed. This one has like a built-in system to where the amperage that's on the bottom, when you adjust it, that amperage is what adjusts your wire speed. So as you increase the amperage on the bottom, it also increases the wire speed at the same time. It's just a different system than what I'm used to. There is the backside of the machine, and here are all of the specs. It says in the manual, as well as here, that at 100 amps you get 30% runtime. You'll hear guys with welders say this often on channels. What that means is 30% is 3 out of 10 minutes you can spend welding with the machine. 7 out of 10 minutes is spent for cool down. So I don't know. I mean, it's not terrible. It could be worse. And then you see some of the internal workings, the coilings, and that's your work surface. Now, when you load this thing, when you open it, as you can see, they've got this kind of clear cover. To get into it is with these. These are just like rubber tabs that you just completely lift off the machine. They completely come off and they just kind of hold the nub on this side to the nub on this side. It's not a complicated system. Pretty straightforward. Loading it wasn't too bad. You know, it's like you'd expect for any welder. Pretty straightforward. And as you can see, the wheels in here, they do send you two different wheels. So it's not one of those wheels that has two different grooves in it for the 30 or the 35 welding wire that you just like flip around on its face and then put it back in. This one has the one that's in it, as well as this, the second one that they send to you. And there's no markings on this, so I'm assuming you're just looking at this and then looking at the one that's in there and figuring out, you know, which one's bigger or smaller, as opposed to them being marked for which one should be in the machine. But that's a quick rundown of the machine. All pretty straightforward. We need to do some test welds and see how it does. Now I have some 1/4 inch thick steel, just some stuff I'm going to play with a little bit and practice on a little bit. And then I have some smaller pieces. This is 1/8 inch, this is a touch wider, thicker. So I'm going to play with this for a second and run some beads and see if it holds a good arc, if it runs a decent bead. Then we're going to try to join some metal and see how that works out and see how the machine holds up. Now, as you can see, it will hold an arc and actually run a decent bead. I'm impressed. Good sound to it, held a good stable arc. We're talking about these 4 right here. Not bad. Honestly, not bad. And this is really me playing with it for the first time. It's not going to get a lot of penetration on something this size because this is big. This is 1/4 inch. This is thick steel. But I just want to play with it and see how it would do. Let's join put some metal together and see what it looks like. I have it right now maxed out at the 100 amps. All right, as you can see, it runs a decent bead. I'm surprised. It's not bad. This is 1/8 inch. As you can see, there's not a lot of penetration. There's some heat coming through to the backside. Decent bead. You know, weld's okay, but not a lot of penetration. Let's throw another, this is, because it's real cold today where I live. Let's throw another bead next to it now that the metal's warmed up a little bit and see if it does a little better. All right, so this is the second bead on this side. Not bad. It'll run a bead. It did get a little better penetration. You can kind of see the heat discoloration here, right there. Yeah, it did a little better on the warmer metal, but that kind of gives you an idea. It's not digging deep. But yeah, it runs a decent bead. All right, let's take it and run a nice wide fat bead and see what it looks like. And this is the last bead that we just ran. Burning my finger there. Honestly, not bad. It holds a decent arc. There's your penetration. You see with each pass as the metal warms up, it does a little better. This one has a little better heat sink to it. You can see a little bit of the burn, the heat burning through. But yeah, it's not. It holds a decent arc. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not a bad weld, to be honest. It's going to lack in depth. It's going to lack in how well it digs into the material. It's not made for that. It's made for thinner stuff. And like I said, I'm running it wide open right now. As you can see, I'm running it wide open on the amperage. So that's as high as it goes on the smaller wire size. Let's just go ahead and try. I'm going to crank the voltage all the way up. Max it out at 19 and just see if that makes any difference. So maxed out, we're talking this one on the end. Maxed out on voltage. It actually did a little better. It sat down a little bit more. Definitely a little better burn through. Definitely. Now this is hot. I've run now multiple passes, which doesn't hurt as far as getting it dug in and penetrated. But as you can see on the side, I hope you can see on the side, it sat down a little bit more. It definitely dug in a little bit better. Yeah. I mean, it'll hold. Final thoughts on the AWT Flux Core 100 MIG 100 welder. I think this definitely has its place on stuff that isn't as heavy or as thick. I think this is definitely usable. I need to put some more time in with it and work with it to kind of talk about longevity. But it's interesting because the entire welder is all right here in your hand. That's different. I'd imagine if you were running this for a while, that would suck because it's got a little bit of weight to it. Arm would probably get tired. It's not like running a gun where there's no weight. But I definitely think it has its place.